Hello, it's Claire here from the Little Design Corner. I am an interior designer, an educator, and a mum of three boys, and in my business, share tips and resources and online courses for designers, decorators, and home renovators. And today, what I want to do is share another one of my free Zoom chats with Claire, I call it, where members of the community can write in with a question that they might have about running their business or SketchUp or productivity or interior design or whatever it might be. And we just have a sort of 15 to 20-minute chat about that, and I just give some tips and tricks and advice. And today I'm talking with Sharon about her business that she would like to get off the ground. Now, she's been working as a behind the scenes, I guess you'd call, stylist and product sourcing specialist in the interior design space for many years, and she's very keen to branch out and actually take a lead role in starting her own business in an interior decoration space, or somewhat the sort of niche that she wants to get into. So we talk about what are her first or next steps to actually get this all happening for herself. We talk quite a lot about a topic that I know many people struggle with in this community, and that is with the fear of getting started and also with inaction. So people who just aren't taking the right actions that they need to get started and to get moving with what they want to be doing. So let's jump over and take a look at the chat with Sharon. Thank you so much for joining me and having the chat and doing all of this. So why don't you, I know you've emailed me already a little bit about what you wanted to have a chat about, but why don't you, for the people who are going to be watching, let me know what it is, and then we can have a bit of a chat.
Sounds good. Well, thank you very much for choosing me as one of the people to interview.
No worries.
So I've been in the interior design industry for about 17 years and mostly behind the scenes. Started doing the interior design course at just a local TAFE and developed roles from sales rep in fabrics to interior design and more interior decoration than design. So I didn't really love freehand drawing of floor plans, and AutoCAD and I weren't very good friends. So doing your course and having you explain everything step by step for someone who's potentially not as technologically advanced as lots of us aren't, was absolutely amazing. Has sort of propelled me back into having confidence to be able to draw plans for clients. So I do a lot of television work in terms of styling and behind the scenes selections and sourcing for various clients. I work with a production company that's Sydney based, but we do a lot of stuff in Melbourne for Bunnings and print media, as well as television work as well. So I guess my question to you is, how do I take that next step in terms of brand development and potentially not being behind the scenes person and putting myself in front of, I don't want to be in front of a camera, that's not my purpose of meeting with you or asking you how do I develop that. It's more about, I guess, brand management and how to. I've noticed in the SketchUp student group that there's been lots of information that you've given other people about developing a website and how to promote yourself through Instagram and social media.
Yeah. So firstly, I have a whole course on this, in case you didn't know.
Yes, I know you've just, yes. Yes.
But
which I am looking at signing up for.
Well, have a think about it. That was only just a little joke on the side. But but what I was sort of preempting that with is like the answer's a little bit like longer than what we'd be able to cover here. But I guess what I'd do as a start was to ask you a couple of things. So first of all, where I would start with asking you is, like, I know you said you don't want to do like in front of the camera or anything, but do you know what you want? Like, what do you want to actually be doing with the business? Is it interior decoration for residential people, or like what is it that you want to actually do as a person on your own in your own business? Do you know?
I guess it's more about, as you say, like the course is, you've developed this course for people like myself who want to take that next step. So if you could sum up, I guess, in terms of where to start, obviously would be a good idea, whether that's a website, self-promotion.
Well, the
I
reason sorry, you go ahead.
No. I was just going to say, so I have had private clients in the past, and being able to do all the physically like styling and sourcing is not my issue. I guess having the confidence to go to that next step is my issue. I'm not very good at self-promotion.
Yeah. Well, that's a lot of people's issue, though, like the self-promotion thing. A lot of people are scared to put themselves out there and get started. The fear of getting started is probably the biggest thing that I see that holds like people back from, from doing it. But the reason why I asked you what you want to do is because your first step really is to work out who you are trying to service. Like, you can't make a website, and we talk about this in that course. You can't make a website, you can't be talking to people on social media in your Instagram feed and stuff if you don't know who you're talking to. And so the first question is like exactly pinning down who is my ideal client and what am I going to be helping them with. And we obviously have a process that we work through to come to that decision. But like, that's the thing for you to be thinking about. So which part of the stuff that I've been doing is the stuff that I want to pull out and then be working and doing on my own without, working for production companies or whatever the other thing, however you're getting the work at the moment. So you've got to pin down before you can do anything, because lots of people want to start with the website, but the website's not going to work if you don't know, if you haven't done these preemptive steps. So that's foundational work of working that out. People often think, well, that's a weird place to start, but you're not going to be able to talk to any particular person. And also you have to niche down, because like I say this in the course too, but like the riches are in the niches. Have you heard that saying before? So you've got to niche down. You can't be talking to everyone. You'll just end up talking to nobody if you don't know the exact small market that you want to be talking to. So that's why I was asking that question, because if you're not sure who that is, that's the first place to spend your time. Think about, who that person is, everything about who that person is. What do they like? How old are they? How much income do they earn? All of those sorts of things. And then what problems do they have? And how you, with your skill set that that you're confident in, and you've got that really good skill set, how can I, with my skill set, help those people with the problems that they've got? And that's the gap that your business is going to solve. Because a business is just a solving, like, you've got to think all businesses are problem solving, like you are solving some problem. So you've got to work out what that problem is first. So that's your absolute first step. You've got to do that foundational step. After that, yes, it's moving on to making sure that when you do approach clients that you've got somewhere to send them. So that can be your Instagram, it can be your website, it's ideally both, it's ideally probably more than those things, but at a foundational, that's probably what would be expected, because people will want to look you up and you have to have somewhere for them to go. So yeah, I definitely think that would be your next step. There's lots of really good platforms to be able to create your website if you're not sure how to do that. So we talk about Squarespace in that course, and like show you how to build a platform and like your website on Squarespace. But that's my recommendation for where you'd go for that. And then your Instagram, I don't know, are you already on Instagram or?
As a private
Yeah.
person, yeah.
So getting your business Instagram page set up. Got a course going live about that on Monday. But the only reason why is because these are the same issues that lots and lots and lots of people are having. So, I mean, it's only a case of me trying to put stuff out that's helpful for people rather than, it's only a joke that I'm just mentioning them like that to you, honestly, but it's like, because I know that like these are the issues that people are having, and the way that you approach your Instagram, like, it is really important that you give value in your Instagram feed. You've got to be, but again, like I'm going to talk about that in this course that's coming out, again, you've got to find out who you're talking to first, because you can't create anything on that business Instagram page that's going to be helpful until you know exactly who you're going to be talking to with that sort of content. So that's 100% your number one thing. And then the other part of it is honestly fear. Because beyond that, you've got the skill set that you need. And I was saying to someone just earlier who I was talking to on another one of these, the important thing when you're first getting started is that you find your fastest path to revenue. So because you already are confident with your actual skill set, you're actually in a much better position than a lot of people who I speak to who are wanting to start their business. There's a lot of people who come into the course who have got their passion for design, but they don't have this like wealth of experience and knowledge that you necessarily already have. So they are battling not only with the, I've got to start the business, but they also like lack a little bit of the confidence on the actual hard skills of design as well. So you're lucky because you don't lack that side, that part of it's fine. So you've got to just find your fastest path to earning some money, because you will suddenly start to build a lot of confidence. Like, I can do this on my own. Like, I don't need, you know, so that's got to be your next step after that. So
I guess my one thing I do struggle with is I hate that word on trend. And so because if you're on trend now, in 5 minutes you're not, let's face it. So I guess I know what my niche is, and you've now obviously got what you've just said makes sense to me. So now I can go ahead and put all those things you've just said into place. I've already in my mind, as you were talking, sort of answered those questions. But I guess what I'm afraid with as well is I don't want to fall into that sort of influencer category. So how, by developing a business page, and I guess that sort of more questions will come and you'll explain when I do that course, is how do you create, say, I don't want to be an influencer. I know I have the confidence and the skill set, as you said, to be able to potentially get to that platform, but I'm scared of falling into that category.
So I don't.
That makes sense.
Well, no, I don't really. So you don't want to be like, no, it doesn't make sense. So which I don't get which.
That's okay. I guess I've worked, just having done the Bunnings project, we the way that was set up was I did all the design work, but then I don't know if you got to see the series or you're interested in.
Oh, is this the thing they did? Okay, yeah. I saw one. I saw
the Make It Yours.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So obviously the production company chose, or Bunnings chose influencers. My work.
Hang on, you just cut out for a few minutes. You're cutting in and out.
I think it said my internet's unstable.
It's okay.
Am
now.
I back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fine. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess, so the way that series was portrayed was that the influencers had made all the selections and done all the work, when really it was my work. Like, I'd done all the selections and you know, sourcing, all of that.
You need to be putting out your content. I mean, the reason they're getting the credit is because at the moment you're behind the scenes. Being an influencer versus being a successful business owner, like they're sort of the same thing. I mean, influencer, you know, you don't need to, I wouldn't worry about labeling like yourself in that way. Like, if you start putting out helpful content, start to attract the right people, start putting content out that answers the problems of the people that you want to serve, whichever those people are that you know that are in your head. That is the way you win. That's the way you win on Instagram. That's the way you win just generally in business, because I mean, that's the model that and it's not a model. It's like, I actually like being really helpful, but I give away, because a lot of people in the design industry is just part and parcel of the industry itself. They think, if I give away my best ideas, that person over there is going to steal them, and then I'm stuffed. But that is just not how it all works. And all that happens is if you give away your best ideas, first of all, your generosity is like really rewarded, because people just are very, very grateful for someone being so open with their knowledge, and you must have a huge amount of knowledge to share. But secondly, you show that you actually are a real expert. So I mean, all of this stuff of people being scared, I don't want to share my techniques, I don't want to share my tips, I don't want to share my, any of it, is like, it's the way you win. Like, it's honestly the way that you, because, and then I don't think you worry about, because the thing is that people, and also people don't not buy from people just because they're giving away their tips for free, because people want it all. Like, I have given away probably the bulk of what's in like these courses, like for free.
Yeah, you have.
Yeah, but the
Yes.
thing is, people want to be able to be taken on the journey through something that's packaged up correctly, because I've got a bit over here on my blog, and I've got a bit in the Facebook group, and I've got a bit sitting on my YouTube channel, and like, it's all like all over the place. People want you to come and do X, Y, and Z with their styling, because yes, you gave that tip last week, and I could just paint it the color you told me last week, and I could pick these cushions you suggested yesterday, but I don't have time, and I just want you to tell me what path I need to go on. And so I think people just get really scared to give away their very best advice. Give away the best possible advice that you can give for free, and don't worry about the whole influencer thing versus, it's just, I think it's a non-event thing to worry about, honestly, because I think you'll end up just being you. I mean, you, the business owner of your successful business that does whatever the niche is that you decide that it's going to do. So, and then you don't, like, if you don't want to be an influencer, then you don't do those bunning shows, like, that's a different kind of a person, who's doing those sorts of shows versus people who are doing different residential interiors. And there's all manners of different people doing different things, I guess. I don't know if that answers the question or.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. I think you've got to just do. It's a case of just, you've probably been a little behind the scene. I don't know. I'm reading into this. My reading into it is you've been behind the scenes for probably like quite a long time, and you're like, do I have like the confidence to really be the front lady of the whole kit and caboodle and say, this is me and I'm doing it now? So I think it sounds to me like you 100% have that in you. So I don't think that there's any issues with that. You've just got to go and do it and start taking action on these steps, and don't procrastinate on making a website for a month. Like, you've got, and be going like, I'm working towards it because I'm making my website. Like, you just can't do that. You've got to, like, your website should be done in a day. And then after that, or, a couple of days or whatever it takes you to do it. But it's like, it's a thing that you tick off the list, and then you move on to the next thing is, I've got to do X, Y, Z. So, I think action. It's my tool. It's my theme of the day. Is what I was saying to the other lady in the call before. But yeah, taking action. It's the way that you win, honestly. Taking action and being super generous. They're the two biggest, most important things.
Yeah, no, thank you. I think you've definitely answered that. And I guess that's who you are as well. So giving that as advice.
Yeah. It's what, like, the biggest game-changing thing for me in my business is, and I'm running a different kind of business to a lot of you guys now, but I've been there. Like, I worked as a designer for 7 years before I started. It's only a year. It's a year, yes, on Wednesday that I sold my first course. But before that, I was doing the exact kind of work that all you guys are doing. And the biggest change for me was when I decided that you've just got to stop worrying, because people worry too much about what other people think. They worry a bit too much about what the design community thinks. There's too much worrying and not enough action. And I know that because that's exactly who I used to be as well. It's only when I was just like, you know what, I'm just going to try not to care. And I say try not because, like, as if that's not a work in progress for everyone forever, but try not to care. People write mean things on my social media, and it's like, it's hard to go like, like, it's just hard to be like, well, rise above all that stuff. You just got to try and do your very best to put out your best tips, ideas, resources. And honestly, it's the way you win, because people be attracted to that. They'll be attracted to your generosity. Be you, be your friendly self. And yeah, that's been the biggest learning that I've had to excel and to just move things forward is what I was, trying to say. Yeah.
Okay.
You can do it.
I can. Thank you.
I've got the confidence in you. You can do it.
Thank you.
Yeah. So don't
Well, I'll be
procrastinate on the
working
things
on the
that don't
website.
matter. Don't procrastinate on the things that don't matter. Focus on what matters and focus on the path to revenue. That's the most important thing.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, hopefully, does that help?
It does. It absolutely does.
Oh, that's good. Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, get on with those things, and then you let me know how you're getting on, and send me your website and show me all of your things that you've made progress with.
I will. Thank you so much.
No worries.
Thank you, Claire. You too. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.